Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. I have some exciting news. I have actually partnered up with BUSR Sportsbook, and we have an amazing limited time offer just for you. If you're into gambling, check this out. They have a sign-up 150% bonus. That's right. It's only for 24 hours after you sign up. But if you make a deposit within that 24 hours, you'll get a 150% bonus. Put in $100, you get $150. Put in $1,000, you'll get an additional $1,500, up to $2,500. Now check this out. It's not just football because, we're dealing with the playoffs and Super Bowl right now. It goes well beyond just that. We're talking about football, basketball, baseball, hockey, more. Hell, I heard that like in The Sopranos that they would gamble on 2 cockroaches running up the wall. But no, in all seriousness, they even have live in-game betting as well. So don't miss out on this incredible offer. To take advantage of this, check out the description. I'll have a clickable link in there, and I'll also pin it into the tab. I'm Mark Holmes, and I appreciate you guys, and go Cowboys. What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. It is the off season for the Cowboys. Of course, it's been this way for a couple of weeks, and of course, it's going to be the off season for everybody tomorrow about 10 o'clock. So I hope everybody's doing good, and we are starting what we actually started last year. Mainly because of my buddy Stuart Morrison, who unfortunately is no longer with us, but we're going to carry the legacy on even further here, making this our regular thing. This week will be the last time it'll be on Saturday. We'll be doing it on Sundays to fill the void of football being gone. So let me go ahead and get our crew up in here. I know we got Stacy Schubert's in the house. I thought we had Thomas Garrett was in here a few minutes ago. I don't know what happened to him. And James Nooks.
Okay.
Thomas?
How's it going?
Oh, there's James. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, James, where are you? Why am I not seeing everybody? Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, so I didn't have the right button pushed there. What's going on, everybody? How are we feeling today?
It's another day in paradise.
Me.
Well, I will say for me, I don't have a bad day. Any day that I wake up and I'm not 6 feet under is a good day. Okay, it's just a good day. As long as I'm alive, there's always things I can do to get better. So that's numero uno for me. For me, listening to the Eagles trolling and I'm just like, why don't y'all wait till you win the game if you actually do win it instead of boasting? Because I'm gonna be honest with you. If they lose, I'm going to put a big sign up there, Eagles are fraud, on my studio set. And anytime any one of the Eagle fans come in here trying to talk some mess, I'm going to remind them that they lost to Dak Prescott, who scored 40 points in their ass, that they made the Super Bowl not beating an legitimate NFL quarterback, okay? They beat Daniel Jones, and they beat Brock Purdy only for a quarter, and Josh Johnson. And then if they lose to Kansas City, I'm going to say you're frauds. You didn't beat anybody. You certainly didn't beat, you beat Cooper Rush. That's all I'm going to tell them. That's what I'm going to do. So definitely, I'm rooting for the Dallas Texans tomorrow. How about y'all?
Me too.
Me too.
Yep. Look, see, there's Eagles undercut. Lies. You beat Minshew.
I gotta root against my big brother. I gotta root for my big brother. I'm sorry.
I said, listen to me, Eagles. My quarterback played against your defense and dropped 40 on your ass.
That's right.
40 on your ass. How many times did your quarterback score 40 points this season, bro? Broham. All right, there we go. All right, so Stacy said she had to get in here to make sure we were getting her take on one Michael Irvin, who, of course, that whole thing it's in the news here where Michael Irvin got dropped. And I'm going to say, you know what this whole thing reminded me of? was I remember we were live streaming when the news first broke about Odell Beckham Jr. being, a medical emergency on an airplane, and that he was unresponsive, and the police were called, that they literally cleared the whole plane. It made you think that there was a hostage takeover, that he didn't had, an episode where he's being carried out on a stretcher and stuff, that he didn't had all kinds of drugs in him, and things. And it was like, wow, Odell Beckham Jr. And literally, and I was the first one. I was like, "Whoa! I don't think we want to have him here at the Cowboys. What the hell's going on?" And then we see the footage of it, and we see dude was sleeping there, and and they woke him up, and he's having a conversation. He didn't look like he was medically distressed to me. He didn't look like he was on drugs. He looked like he was tired, and it looked like some people that were kind of overreacting to the situation. Yeah. And so that's my feeling right now with what we're seeing thus far. Now granted, there's always three sides to every argument. There's your side, my side, and somewhere in the middle lies the truth. But right now, I don't see anything thus far that says Michael Irvin did anything.
Exactly. I'm trying to wait, Mark, until my other ladies come in the chat, because I know they're going to have something to say. I don't want them to miss what I have to say.
Okay, and I tell you what, I didn't grab my sound box over here.
Because we've been hearing all the takes from men, so we definitely need to hear from our point of view.
The only thing that I could think of would be is the only thing that could be is that something had to transpire between them elsewhere. That's the only way you look at this, because 45 seconds in the hotel lobby, there was he didn't hit her or touch her. So
probably guilted. Some people have.
Some people are crazy.
Some people think more of themselves than they actually are, and when they get in their feelings, because someone, look at me, you don't want me, and sometimes you're taking that one. You're taking that route. Yes. Jilted lover. Okay. Or potential, or a wannabe jilted lover. Look, Mark, I can take this back to the Bible with Joseph. Remember, when his master's wife wanted him, he ran out of her bedroom. He ran and his jacket was still there. So, look, he tried to rape me and all that stuff. It's still going on. Going on.
And here's the thing. Here's my thing, because I know there'll be people out there that will say, you're just taking his side or anything. You know what? If he is guilty of something, by all means, then he should be, put the task to it and charged with it and so on. If he's not, if this is some made up bull jive, then it needs to go the other way too, because this is where it's too easy with social media and things like that to go ahead and sully somebody's reputation, Right. Yeah.
And Mark, you're a content creator just like I am. And so, some of the content that we create is predicated upon us actually being able to, speak to celebrities and athletes. Yeah. And when events like this happen, they want, sometimes they further distance themselves from us. Because I even noticed, you don't remember, and I didn't say anything, but last year at the tailgate, you remember when Mike Fisher came up and me and Gina took pictures and stuff? He looked very uncomfortable because, with this Me Too, you barely touch someone and, oh my God, you're, and so he was, like I said, I took pictures with him, and then Gina took pictures, but you could tell he felt very uncomfortable. And he didn't know when he was trying to put his hand, he was afraid to put his hand on our shoulder. He had and then when he did put his arm, go back and look at the pictures. I can send them to you.
Oh, yeah.
When he had his hand around us, he had his fist balled up because he didn't want, you know what I'm saying? So this is just too much.
Well, now, and too, with the editing software and stuff and the artificial intelligence and being able to cut and paste, how easy it is to go ahead and make something look like it's legit. that's out there. I mean, Lord knows I got Stan out there who, when he first started, because there were so few videos, that people would see a video and say, oh my God, is Mark Holmes, Mark Holmes and Stuart Morrison, they've come up with a scheme to go ahead and just make a whole bunch of money and he's not really sick, Fortunately, this person has spammed so much stuff that it's all just kind of ridiculous if you actually watch all of it and say, yeah, okay, that's some bull jiggity.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm waiting. I want Lola and Jean. I want some of the other ladies to, join the chat, because I know they're angry about this as well. And I do have a commentary. Like I said, you need to hear it from the female point of view, because this is a bunch. What you call it? This is a bunch of
bull jiggity. Yeah, bull jiggity.
Mark.
Yeah, Thomas, what's up?
Not much, bro. You know what? I'm shocked that TMZ hadn't bought the video.
Well, I saw there was a video where, Michael Irvin, actually, it's been out a couple of days, where a guy said, I can't believe that this is the incident. He's at the bar and Michael Irvin's just standing there having a conversation with people, and, he used a couple of F words and stuff in there, but, he was talking about kids and F this and that, the other and all that. And people were just laughing. And so I'm trying to understand how, if that is the actual video from it and the 45 seconds that she's an employee of the Renaissance, what is your beef? And if it's not a beef where it needs to be an allegation that goes to the police, how is it that these two networks who have invested their time and money and everything else are just going to ultimately just say, okay, we're done, unless there was something else that transpired that, besides this 45-second interaction?
Mark, like I said earlier in the week when you did your live Monday, this, if you ask me, it's just somebody who wanted a big payday and 15 minutes of fame, and then backfired. That's all what it boiled down to, if you ask me. And you took the words out of my mouth when you said that she was an employee of the hotel. What's gonna happen is the whole thing's gonna get thrown out.
David Wiley, what's up?
The whole thing's gonna get thrown out, and the lady who did all of this, Tamika Irvin, she's gonna eventually lose her job for what she did.
Right?
Is she? Wait a minute. Let's go back to Odell, though. Did anybody lose their job with Odell at the airline?
I still don't know if anyone lost their job, because they were.
You gotta look at it, Mark. You gotta look at it. Michael is already suing her.
And the hotel.
The hotel got a contract with the NFL.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, because the NFL hotels are always Marriott's. Okay, their official vehicle. Whenever you see Roger come up, it's a GM. See Suburban and stuff, because that's the official partners. They get to use that name. And if you're telling me that there's no allegations, the thing that still is kind of like, I get it. Something could or could not have happened, and everybody gets their day in court. If somebody believes something happens, you should be able to go out and say something about it, right? But it seems like NFL Network and ESPN have already been judge, jury, and executioner.
Exactly.
That they, within 24 hours of, I'm assuming, a phone call, that they just said, we're done. And then have no explanation of it at all.
But you know what, Mark? The good thing about it?
What's that?
In all things, God works for, and I'm not trying to be some religious zealot, but I really feel when all is said and done, Irvin's going to win this lawsuit. I really feel that.
Yeah. David, you're coming over tomorrow? I was beginning to think that nobody was, well, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be live streaming. I thought everybody was staying home tomorrow, but cool. We're going to keep it light.
And this just shows us the whole thing with Michael Irvin. Why, when you're a high profile person, you should always have bodyguards with you. Some bodyguards, somebody around, because you never know. People these days, they'll try to set you up.
It's not just these days, because you remember when it used to be Charles Barkley?
Oh yeah.
You know, people used to look, you know, it's like, okay, I can piss off Charles Barkley. He's going to take a swing at me and I'm going to get paid. Right. Now you don't have to get a swing taken at you. If you get a photo or, you know, a video, TMZ's going to pay you for it.
You got that right.
You know, and that's where people honestly look at others and say, you know, how can I make money? It almost drives me crazy because everything now is how I can get rich fast as opposed to actually earning it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Everything is
working hard and earning money for yourself. That's a bygone era. It's sad. And like I said, Mark, when incidents like this happen, I get angry because, you know, I'd reach out to celebrities and they don't, they're trying to figure out, is this someone who's going to try to, you know, scam me or, you know, show me in a bad light? And, you know, I'm not like that, just like you, Mark, but when situations like this happen, sometimes you Mark, I'm sure you've heard people say they approached a celebrity or an athlete and they were cold or distant because they're probably scared.
Yeah.
You
know what? And now I see why all these celebrities and athletes act like assholes now.
Right.
Because of this.
Yeah.
Right.
Because of this.
Because you don't know. You know, and I don't want to change the person and by all means, I'm no celebrity and stuff. But, you know, sometimes when people say Mark Holmes, you know, you kind of, you know, I'm excited because they may be a fan, but you don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know what somebody might be, you know, because when and I'll be, well, you know, 100. I'm sure Stan's watching now and stuff. But when that stuff first started coming through and putting it out there and stuff and being doxxed and stuff, it's like, what the hell? You know, your whole thing is, if your channel is all about me and trying to despair, then how is it your channel? It's all Mark Holmes. It ain't nothing that you're putting out there. And there are people out there that have an agenda that are looking to use others. Now, again, I don't know, you know, again, in the same way Michael Irvin is, you know, innocent until proven guilty, the same thing goes the other way. Because there are people legitimately out there that do have things that happen that aren't believed initially. But from what we've seen thus far, it's hard to believe that the networks, because here's my thought. Is if Michael Irvin is suing Marriott and they come out and they, you know, so we were wrong, or they lose, then the next target needs to be the NFL Network and ESPN because they followed along with that just before that.
That's what I want.
They rest the judgment on that.
Right.
Yeah, there's a case here in Columbus where there's a couple Ohio State players, former Ohio State players. They finally got proven innocent. Because there was a girl that tried to say that they were messing with her, raped her, and all that, and then they didn't. And the whole time it was the dad trying to push the girl to press charges, and they had no proof.
People have agendas. They do.
Yes. Oh, again, it goes back to, you know, it's like, you know, when you start a YouTube channel, it's everything is, you know, how you can buy subs or, you know, how you can get 1,000 subs real quick. And, you know, most of the things are kind of like, they're not the legitimate way that you go about trying to actually do anything. Yeah. You know, and it's nothing, you know, the proven hard work wins.
All the time.
But that's not the mentality. Everybody expects, like, when you see your TikTok, it's here in 2 seconds and I'm done. Everybody expects everything like that. And that's not the way the world works. At least it's not supposed to work that way.
And so, you know, James, I'm glad you brought that up because, man, I saw a documentary on a college football player, number one high school player in the country. As a matter of fact, they had already made him a potential first round draft choice, running back.
Yeah.
What had happened with that deal was he had already picked the college that he was going to. He was going to USC. He got out to Los Angeles. First day on campus and everything. He was supposed to have been at this club. Wasn't there. He was at the dorm. A girl got raped. And that mistakenly pointed to him as the guy that raped her.
Well, we can go back through all kinds of history. I mean, how about Emmett? Let's go back. Okay,
look at Zeke.
To let Zeke. There you go, Zeke too.
The girl tried to say that, you know, he beat her up or whatever. Look at that.
And he did nothing wrong. No foul.
But he still paid for it.
I knew people that went to the same school as that girl that said that girl was nothing but a liar.
Well, the NFL's own investigation person said there's nothing here.
No, there was nothing.
There's nothing. She's like, I did the whole investigation. There's nothing here. She's not credible. There's not, and he still got 6 games suspended.
That was personal.
The bad part about all of that, Mark, was Roger Goodell cut her a $10 million check and told her to keep her mouth shut, and you haven't heard from her since.
I didn't hear about that part of it, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Roger Goodell cut her a $10 million check and told her to go on about her business. You haven't heard from her no more since. She got paid off.
Well,
easy money.
The crazy thing was, after that incident, she was dating Lucky Whitehead. You see why his career was real short-lived with Dallas and after that.
Yep. So, Mark, I don't see, where's Lola and Gina? I don't see them in the chat. I was hoping they would come in before I started my commentary.
The whole investigation, there's nothing here. She's not credible. There's nothing. Okay, so somebody played that, but okay, but hopefully there is nothing to this, that that this all comes to light, or whatever happened comes to light, and we can move on from there. So I see prime time and game time. You guys are quiet down there. What's up? Does Brian have his mic fixed today?
Yeah, dude, my mic is always fixed. How does it sound?
Today it sounds good. Right now you don't sound.
It sounded good with you before. It's only when I go into the islands with when we have an issue. Yeah, well, you blame the island weather down there, man.
The island weather. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good here. Every time I come on with you, I'm good, right?
Well, it was, and then it wasn't, and then with prime time, it was kind of touch and go there.
Yeah, it was. What's up? How is everybody?
I'm good, man.
I'm all right, man. Just a little allergies. Just some weird weather we're having, and
there's something going around.
I'm a little under the weather, but I'm all right. So.
I have been, inundated with Eagle fans that literally have already said that they've won this game. That they're already, we got 2 Super Bowl wins. We're catching up quickly. They better not lose. They better not lose.
They do.
Mark, I was on Twitter, man, and I was on Twitter. I was just scouring through all these Eagle fans, man. All they talking about is Dallas. I'm like, hold on, man. Whatever happened to y'all celebrating that you're in the Super Bowl? You're happy to be in the Super Bowl. Stop talking about it. Concentrate on the Super Bowl, man. You're worried about, you're talking and worried about the wrong things, man.
You know what it is, Thomas? We're Dallas Cowboys are like the rich high school that everybody
Right.
So that's why people always mention the Dallas Cowboys, because they think of us, they're like, oh, they think they're privileged and all that. So that's why everybody always talks about Dallas.
We're the rich kids that live in the suburbs, and everybody want what we got.
Hey, Mark.
Ain't happy.
Hey, Aisha Robinson, how you doing?
Something's wrong with my Zoom. It keep coming in and out.
No, you in now.
Yeah, you're in. It's kind of like it's freezing. Looks like it's okay now.
All right. I can't see nobody because it's dark.
Oh, okay. I can see you in the corner there.
All
right. Hope all is well with you.
I just came for seeing my mom.
How's she doing?
She's doing okay.
Well, that's good to hear.
What's up, Roland? Hey, Thomas.
Hello. How you doing?
All right. So, moving on from Michael Irvin, we'll see whatever else happens on there.
Yeah, there's not much. I just came in. I'll give you my thoughts on it. There's not much on Michael Irvin. All I know is there's multiple witnesses that
say nothing happened.
And we're talking Eagle fans. They're not his. I haven't seen much of you lately. As far as I know, you're putting out videos, but I haven't really felt great. But yeah. So Eagles fans normally don't have Michael Irvin's back.
No,
So,
they don't.
what I'll say is, what could have possibly? I mean, let's assume the worst for a second. Let's assume that he walked in. He actually left the bar area to go outside to take a picture with an Eagle fan, like a man. He had to go out because he said we're not allowed to take pictures inside.
Yeah.
Came back in. What could be possibly said? Now let's assume the worst. And he said, "Hey, listen, let's go upstairs and do this. Let's do that." And she said, "No, get lost." Now I'm just saying worst case scenario. So that's a lawsuit. I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying that's what happened, but what else could possibly have happened?
The only thing I can think of is something transpired that was before this or beyond this. That 45 seconds there is not enough. It had to be something else in order to. But from what you've heard from Michael Irvin saying, they came up to my room after the fact and, with security and said, we got to get you to another hotel.
There's no charges were filed,
or no police report or anything like that.
So that tells me that it's about money, unless there's a charge filed. If there's something egregious, then you need to take your butt down to the police station and file a charge, and then they'll bring Michael in, and then they'll do it.
But everybody's saying, we're pulling Michael Irvin from this.
Well, that's the new. And listen, man, I don't want to get into the politics and all that, but that's the new culture. It's you're guilty, and Stacey hits it on the head. It's a cancel, and this is why I said we need to start meeting in the middle. We got the far right, and then we got the far left, and we got 90% of us ride the middle lane. You don't speak for me. You don't speak for me. So stop canceling people until we know the facts. So now Michael Irvin, Mark, let's just say that you got pulled off of YouTube this week. This is arguably, let's say Dallas was involved in the playoffs, all because of an allegation. That is costing you money.
Right.
That's costing you a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it's causing Michael Irvin a lot right now. You could say whatever, but in this country, there's a certain percentage of people that all they have to do is hear an allegation and you're guilty. They're going to unfollow you.
That goes back to Zeke Elliott.
They're not going to watch you. Yeah, exactly. That goes back to Zeke Elliott and the BS that was that it would never be anything now. I'm not trying to go on a rant, but why are we taking him off the air? It's not like there was an incident or there was an accident or he was arrested. I would get it.
Well, the only reason why you look at the NFL Network is because you think of when they had Darren Sharper, and Darren Sharper was,
he was drugging women. He was
the pick magnet.
Cosby,
and then
he was convicted.
Yeah. But and then he had was it Marshall? I mean, they ended up losing quite a few guys. Was it Marshall Faulk one?
Warren Sapp.
And Warren Sapp was actually Arizona too, by the way. Arizona, because I remember being at that Super Bowl where the whole focus of the NFL was sex trafficking. That was the big thing that they were trying to do. You see billboards all over the place about sex trafficking because John McCain's wife was a big advocate of trying to stop that. And so here it is. Warren Sapp gets busted not paying some prostitutes. That this was not the Super Bowl to try and do that. So that killed his career.
Michael's learned his lesson. I will tell you that. Michael, we all know. We all listen. We all can't sit there, and everybody makes mistakes. That's just life. And that, not to get specific to any one situation, but Mark, you know what I'm talking about. People who throw stones and accuse and say, we need to have some, anybody that says that they're perfect then I would worry about that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you have nothing in your closet, then I'm a little suspect because I don't buy that. So, Michael, we all know about you would say it was crazy, but it was probably a smart thing because they didn't go out in the clubs.
Exactly.
They kept it, whether we agree or not, they kept it to there. And then it got out and then it was all over.
Yeah, that debaucherous lifestyle.
He knows that when he comes to the team hotel, that's why they don't like to give, like you made a comment about the Marriott. I know it was a couple years ago. I was going to a Dallas game in New York, and I wanted to know what hotel they were staying at, and everything is hush hush. They're not allowed to tell you anything. You got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And well,
at the Super Bowl, every hotel is hooked up, but the NFL will have like official NFL hotels. One will be the headquarters where all the big wigs stay at, and then they have another one that's where like all of their VIPs and things, and usually those are connected with somehow where they're going to have like commissioner's party.
Yeah,
so the last one I went to was Miami. They ended up having the commissioner's party on the beach behind the hotel. I can't remember the hotel. It was a Marriott, and they're great Marriotts. Trust me, that's where the owners are staying if they're not staying on their yacht or something like that. But and they are highly. And here's the thing. I'm going to tell you. Here's where you got to understand how crazy security is at a Super Bowl. Because I remember this was back when San Francisco had one. And anywhere you went, you had to have credentials for official events and things and getting here. You don't just walk into a hotel and say hello, if the official NFL ones. But I remember because we had gotten our credentials earlier in the week, we had went in with somebody else to get their credentials at the NFL's hotel and things. And we're walking in, and we go up to the counter, and they say, "Hi, Mark and Tracy." And we're like, "Hi, do I know you?" They're like, "No, we have facial recognition software. We know who everybody is."
Whoa.
And this was when the Super Bowl was in San Francisco. That was like 6 years or so ago. And they're like, there's so much stuff that you don't see camera-wise. It's like being in Vegas. Mm-hmm. So if there's an incident that happens, it's recorded.
It's recorded.
And that's where the Marriott, they said to him, "Well, we got, on tape." Okay, well, what's the tape? What happened? Did you tell him what happened? He said, "I don't know if anything happened. It was 45 seconds. Well, we're getting you out of the hotel. Well, you were taking me out the hotel. What are you taking me out the hotel for? What did I do? And when the NFL network and stuff came to him and said, "You're off the coverage," for what? Why am I off the coverage?
That's not right.
That's where this whole thing is. It stinks.
Mm-hmm. Mark, they did the same thing to me when I was down in Miami back in 2019. When I went on my cruise, we was in the lobby because all you had to do was just walk straight ahead and you was on the ship. And the receptionist was like, Thomas Garrett. And I'm like, did the same thing you did. I'm like, how you know me? She told me, she said, "Your passport, man. Your passport is in the computer.
Mm-hmm.
Your information is in the computer.
Yeah.
If you don't want to get on the ship, I call somebody else." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm getting on this ship. I don't pay too much money for this shit."
Mm-hmm.
That's what I told her, word for word.
Yeah, it's just very disappointing that we have to, anybody has to deal with an accusation as flimsy as this. And like I said, the worst case scenario, he said something sexual, rightly, wrongly, okay, but she didn't file a complaint. There were witnesses there, so I don't even see that happening. But you're saying that it could have been something referring to something prior?
That's the only thing I can think of, is that maybe there was an interaction somewhere before, and she came up and said, "You did blah blah blah," and then, "Oh, come on, man, are you crazy?" And then he left. That's the only other thing that I can think of could have possibly happened. That 45 seconds right there, that ain't enough. That ain't enough.
If you ask me, Mark, I thought him and the crew had just came back in.
They did. What I'm saying is something earlier in the day or the day before, if there was an interaction possibly before there. What you've seen from that clip, if that is a legitimate clip, and what you've heard from those people is not something that is big enough to warrant him losing his job. Now, if something happened between the two of them, and I'm not saying it did, let me be clear here. In my mind, just trying to figure out how this could be is if there was some kind of an incident that happened prior to this or after this, that wasn't enough to do this. It would have to be something else. And maybe they said, well, this ain't too cool. We're going to get you out of here and we're done with you and stuff, and we'll sweep it under the rug. That's the only other thing that you can think of.
Video, like, because there are cameras everywhere, but but the only video we're aware of is the 45-second video,
right? And that allegedly is the incident,
right? We're just trying to surmise why it got. A 45-second video would, it just doesn't make any sense. What I'm getting at is a man's livelihood. This is not the first time. And I'm not saying that he's perfect, but it seems like people, hangers on, as they call it, waiting. They're just waiting, and it's like, it's very sad, man. It is. I feel bad for him. Now, like what I would say is he needs to be more aware. He probably shouldn't have did that radio spot with 105.3 The Fan, because I was listening live.
Yeah, I'm just hiding out to see what's going on.
And he's like, he goes, oh, you guys don't know. And then he made listen, it's an actual everyday comment. You could see that it happened, and he was honest. He was, I was out with a friend, ex-linebacker, Michael Brooks. Yeah. I was out drinking, so I don't remember. Well, that was idiots are going to take that as, oh, there he goes. He's going to blame it on the alcohol. But there was people there. So that he should have not said that, because it just makes his situation more complicated, because now you got to explain more, it seems like. So he should have just said nothing, in my opinion, and waited, but he was honest. And this is where, they tell you sometimes don't testify in court when you're innocent, because they can find something that's not there, So that's why they tell you that.
Yeah,
so.
they could either find something or they'll say something crazy to see if they could trip you up.
Yeah, and just how you answer something, they'll assume guilt when that's not the case.
Yeah. So, Mark, I guess, like I said, I don't see Lola and Gina, so I'll just go ahead and say, so with these incidences, and now, and Mark, with your generation and my generation, a lot of things that are said now that hurt someone's feelings, or they take it the wrong way. I can't tell you how many times people, even the students in my classroom, Miss Siebert, you can't say that. Everything hurts their feelings or is bullying to them. So maybe he did say something that she took the wrong way. But I will say, let's look at it this way. If that had been an owner, how come when something involving an owner happens, you don't hear anything else about it, and you don't hear them anything? But
Robert Kraft.
Yeah. Well, listen. The first thing that came to mind to me, Stacey, and you guys may not really be into it, and I watch a lot of UFC, fights. And as soon as this happened, I thought of what happened a couple weeks ago. Dana White, who's the president
his wife
of USC, they were in Mexico at Senior Frogs.
I saw that.
It's like a drink fest. I've been there, done that. It's a hell of a time, but it's more of a younger crowd. Why they were there, I don't know. But his wife hit him on camera. They have him hitting his wife.
I saw that.
Now, in what situation under this cancel culture? Now, I already told you I don't agree with the cancel culture. I don't agree with anybody losing their job over one incident. It is what it is. But if there's anybody going to lose their job, it was a guy who's on camera, a white man. And I'm not trying to bring race into it, but I'm just making a statement. A white guy hits his wife, and there's not even a suspension.
A blimp on the radar.
Now we have a non-white guy who is accused, has multiple people that come out and say it was a 40-second conversation. He went into the elevator. There was one guy from out of the country said he got on a lift and he was gone. Nothing happened. He was nothing but nice to it. He shook the lady's hand. So do you see why I'm a little upset here? Now, Stacy, are you a school teacher?
Okay.
Did you say you were a school teacher?
High school. Yes.
Okay.
Let me interject one thing here real quick.
About something later.
Let me interject one thing real quick because see, there's Lola. What's up, Lola?
Well, I'm not trying to bring race into it.
Well, but I want to bring one thing up here is when we grew up, okay, it was sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. I mean, I got called, the N-word. I'm sorry, I can't say it, but the N-word on a daily basis. Okay, and to the point where I was being bullied to where my dad came to the school and basically said, either you guys take care of the problem or I'm going to make sure he does. And they're like, well, kids will just be kids. And my dad said, you know what? Here's what I want you to do. You pick up a stick or a brick and you knock the biggest one upside the head and you tell them I told you to do so. Okay. Right. So, that was how I grew up. But now you everybody this namdy-pamdy, my God, come on, people.
And Mark,
ignore. I just think, sometimes just got to ignore some stuff. And the other problem I was saying before everybody got in here is everybody's looking for the get rich quick scheme. Nobody wants to actually work and earn something. If I can catch you with something and boom, put it out there and get paid, hey, that's all that matters. And everything is how can I screw over somebody? It's not about putting out a good product, No. It's about, can I sham wow you here, okay? And some bullshit that doesn't exist.
I love the sham wow.
Okay, so, I've never had one.
Let's not get into the sham.
Okay, I don't mean to slander, but you understand what I'm saying.
I got you.
You go on YouTube, you've got all these videos how, how to make $20,000 a month on YouTube with proven, and it's bullshit. It's bullshit, okay?
Well, do you know how to make money? I could tell you one way to make money, and that's work your butt off for it.
That's right. Right. And that is part of the culture now. And now it is so easy because everybody's thirsting for the news. The bad part about all this is you get accused of something, right? It's big news and it gets set in people's heads. When it comes out that it's not true, it's in the back pages. So everybody constantly has in their mind. People still have in their mind that Zeke Elliott is, a sexual predator. In the same way they took Des Bryant and said, well, the police showed up at Des Bryant's house 6 times. And there's a videotape out there that's 10 times worse than Ray Rice.
They're waiting on it.
So people look at Des Bryant from those incidents as like, I don't know about you. I've had the police come to my house before too. I had the police come to my house at 3:00 in the morning, shoot a flashlight in the windows and stuff. And I'm looking downstairs and wondering what the hell's going on. And it turned out that my daughter's car was hit by a drunk driver and launched into an accident. But the police were, came to my house, right? So does that make me a bad person because the police came there?
No.
Now, Michael, I didn't mean to bring us back into it. Sorry, but I missed the beginning. So, okay. But Michael, he filed a suit. Is that true? Or
he filed $100 million suit against her and the hotel. Now, on the flip side of this, Brett Favre filed a $50 million suit against Pat McAfee and Shannon Sharp for defamation. That's the only 2 people that he's suing, just those 2. So
the text messages were public, so what he's caught red-handed with his hand.
Brett Favre is a train wreck. So that's just.
Can I say something, Mark? Now that Lola's here,
Lola. She's been waiting for it, Lola. You holding up progress, Lola. Stacy has been holding her water for 43 minutes. She said, I'm going to wait till Lola gets in here before I go over this.
Because we think a lot alike. So Lola, that's why you guys keep seeing me look to my left because I have I'm reading the chat on my laptop. And so this is what I wanted to say about this, Michael Irvin incident. We as women, and again, Mark mentioned it earlier, there are actual people out here who bad things, happen to. When you have people who are just trying to get a quick payday, that ruins it for the people who have legitimately, hurt or something has happened to them. And what I feel about this, as soon as this incident happened, first of all, None of us are perfect, but I for some reason, and I'm not saying I'm psychic or anything, I just did not believe it from when I first saw this. The first thing that came to my head was money grab.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing about it, we as women, okay, Mark, you're just a few years older than I am.
Mm-hmm.
In our generation, if I decided to sue all the men, okay, I've had
I know what you're gonna say.
You know, men, that's what men do. I'm not saying Michael does. I'm just saying, if I were to take to court all the men that have said things out of the way to me, okay, the court cases would be going on until the rapture. So
yeah.
I'm just saying, get over yourself. And I was looking at this situation. He's Michael Irvin. She's probably looking for a payday. And what I was telling you earlier, Mark,
Mm-hmm.
get in their feelings really easily because they think, oh, I look like an Instagram model or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't sometimes come on to them or say the thing they want to,
I'm gonna get him. Mm-hmm.
So we as women, we can be vindictive.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that people get in their feelings because you didn't want anything to do with them. So I'm just saying, I don't like the fact that when it's an NFL owner, it's, hush, hush. And we need our privacy.
Right.
When it's a player, everything, they lay all the cards on the line. But I've been praying. I said, Lord, please let this work out in Michael Irvin's favor. I think he's going to get more money than he would have from ESPN and the NFL Network. Because this cancel culture. I've been sick of this cancel culture.
Isn't it?
Oh, in the chat section what you think about this whole Michael Irvin incident.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this incident will, stop all of these frivolous lawsuits. And people, so it's not fair for men.
Yeah, but see that now you're going after big business now, though.
Right.
Because
I'm glad
here's what happened. These cases never go to court. It always gets settled out of court. And I remember working over at the courthouse in Manassas where we were working on one side. We were one contractor working on one side of the courthouse building the juvenile courtroom. There was another contractor working on the other side of the building. A lady went through the construction site and tripped over an extension cord. She wasn't supposed to be in there. It was supposed to be closed construction site. She sued that contractor, the county, and us. We had nothing to do with that side of it. And it ended up being that the contractor I worked for, their attorneys ended up paying $25,000 to this person to settle out of court, along with whatever the county paid and the other contractor, just to make it go away. So, the TMZ video, you get paid by TMZ, you get paid by, of course, the attorneys are going to take their cuts and everything else. So they got a case against you, and it's all crap at some point. It is just a waste.
But we need to remember this. Yes, they're athletes, but we need to also remember this man has a wife, he has children, he has grandchildren. You're so greedy for money that you'll just say anything. You don't care who you destroy.
Mm-hmm.
And I give it to his wife, Sandy. She stood by him because we all know about what was going on back in the day at the White House.
Mm-hmm.
But people, like you said, people know who you are and they think about their come up. And that's not right. And I really hope and pray that this incident is going to work out for not just financially for him, but it's going to stop all these people with these frivolous lawsuits.
Well, I tell you what, right now, the way the tide is turning on this, Marriott, if they got something, they better come out with it because they're beginning to look bad here.
They better write that check because they're not going.
Yeah. But at this point, writing the check isn't gonna do it. Now, I need an apology because I've lost my job.
Even me, Mark, my situation.
Mm-hmm.
If a student accuses me of impropriety, or if I'm accused of having an inappropriate relationship or abusing a student, they don't just come out, oh, you're fired. You're suspended with pay until they are done.
An investigation, administrative leave.
Right.
Just like the police.
Right. And then if they don't find anything, boom, I go back to work.
Mm-hmm.
They don't take the students go in there with some, made up lie. They don't say, oh my God, let's see, you're fired. That's not how that works.
Well, I don't want to put race in it though, but being a person of color, you've got to do it 10 times better, and you don't get the benefit of the doubt like others will. And I apologize to anybody. If you have not been on this side of the fence, you may not understand it. I remember, I'm going to give you an example here.
Especially if you're Michael Irvin.
Let me give you a funny example here, okay? There was a comedian years ago that was talking about, he's like, if you don't want to get a ticket, just have a white person in the car with you, right? He said, you'll never get a ticket, okay? So... but here's what was funny, because I had never in my life been pulled over without getting a ticket, right? Except for once. I had a guy, white guy, and I'm not trying to make me racial. This is a true story, who I ended up helping because I was friends of his father and stuff, who was on work release, okay? This dude had done, he was in for some serious time, and I would have to pick him up from the jail every day. We'd go work, and then I have to take him back to the jail, right? Okay. Right. This dude, he got tattoos like crazy. He looked like he should be on, one of them television shows as a gangster. Big Wade, what's up? And I ended up going through a stop sign in Arlington because I missed it. I just didn't see it. Police car, they pull up, the officer gets their license and registration. You went through that stop sign. I'm like, yeah, I did. I said I didn't see it. And then he looked over and he saw he saw the guy with me. And he was like, well, just watch where you're going. And I was like, the fuck? I just admitted that I went through. I'm like, how did that happen? And the funny thing is, the guy I've got with me is doing 4 years more time, and I'm taking him back to work release. Okay. Go figure. Okay, it's better to laugh at things like this. Okay, let's try and ingest some humor with it. So
you do.
All right, so we'll have to wait and see if anything else comes about it. But at this time, you've got Michael Irvin in the worst week in the world to be pulled off a network as a football person.
All that money.
Where everybody has seen that and heard about it. So we'll see if anything happens from that standpoint.
I'm pulling for him. I'm pulling for the playmaker. He's our most ardent support. I'm pulling for the playmaker. I love the playmaker.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I do too. And, after him, having the cancer scare, and so on, because we were the day that he found out he didn't have cancer scare, he was actually there at an autograph signing show, and things. And that's not to say Michael Irvin has done some things in the past. We all know that, but it shouldn't be what you did in the past. It's like, what are you doing since those incidents that happened?
They say once you've served your time that it's done, but it's not. If you're African American, it's just not. And again,
you're forever labeled.
Cast the first stone. We've all done things that we're not proud of. It's just we're not celebrities, and it's not fair.
Oh, shout out to Lola. The Eagle player. Now I had an Eagle fan because I was talking about Stills, who actually started one game. That an Eagle fan blasted me and said he's now on the commissioner's exempt list. If they put him on the commissioner exempt list, they did that thing pretty quietly because I did not hear anything about it because a grand jury had indicted him for it.
I brought it up. I saw it on Twitter, and then I reposted it, and I got some flack from Eagle fans. And like Lola's saying, Stacy's saying they're trying to swallow. He's not a big name player. Why are you making a big deal? Well, it's still a Super Bowl game with one of your players not available because it was a rape, basically. If you know the details, which are pretty graphic, it's something to talk about, but yet it was kind of, swept under the rug and let's move on. Okay, so who gets to pick and choose? Now, I don't know that it has anything to do with that situation was a race thing, but I don't know. It's the facts are the facts. It's you know what I mean? not to be, not like no pun intended, but it's in black and white. You know what I mean? It's like it's right there. The guy, nobody's talking about it.
Yep.
You know, and it happened literally the day after the game. It wasn't like it was an off-season thing that creeped in. Oh my God!
Listen, we still get. Let's let Pac-Man Jones do something tomorrow. Yeah. You're gonna see former Dallas Cowboy Pac-Man Jones, arrested for. He played here for 1 year. If you are a Dallas guy, and Marcus Spears was right about it. I led my stream last night about it. He's talking about it's different as a Dallas Cowboy. People look at you and see payday.
Yeah.
Well,
people are making their careers on the backs of Dallas Cowboys.
And and because of that, we need to be that much better, talent-wise, scheme-wise, off the field-wise than anybody. We need to be that much better in order for us to be successful, which goes into my offseason. I'm going to be relentless. Okay, I'm not going to be – I was upset last year, but I was giving them the benefit of the doubt. I'm not giving them the benefit of the doubt anymore.
The Cowboys?
You need to get more – you need to get more offensive weapons. You need to get more weapons around Dak Prescott, or why do we have them? And I'm not trying to
this was my thing yesterday. Everybody says, well, Dak Prescott is the black Kirk Cousins. Take a look at the weapons that Kirk Cousins has right now. It wasn't Offensive Player of the Year Justin Jefferson?
Dalvin Cook,
Adam Thielen. Even their third wide receiver has 790 yards. That's almost double what our second guy had. So you look at these. Give me those weapons.
Successful teams have multiple weapons around them. CD said it. So I'm not going to let old man Jerry Jones off the hook. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to let you off the hook, and I'm not going to let your son Catboy off the hook either. No, you're wrong. The facts are the facts. You made an ass out of us Cowboy fans saying the Eagles went all in. No, we could debate on what the Eagles team is going to look like next year. We all know they're not going to be as deep.
They got 2 first-round picks, including a top 10. Okay?
Exactly.
Not that they're good at picking with it.
Like, they're not going to be able to keep every little. They ain't going to be able to have like 4 deep at a position on the defensive line. But they'll have young guys, and they might hit. But I'm not going to let you slide. You need another number 1 receiver. I told you this, 3 weeks ago, who I wanted. Now all of a sudden it's coming out that, he wants to play with his brother, Stephon Diggs. Yeah, go get him. And if he's not available, then give me Hopkins. And if he's not available, then find somebody else.
What do y'all think of Keenan Allen?
He's on the list. He's after the guys I mentioned. I think we need a speed guy with some size on the outside. That's what I think. So that doesn't necessarily mean Stephon Diggs, but I would love to have Diggs. He's a speed guy. You could put him on the outside, but give me somebody.
Yeah. So if you said we need a speed guy on the outside, those qualifications that wouldn't cost so much that maybe Jerry
you know what?
You can't worry about that, Stacey. You need to go out and if you got to give up a 1 and a 3 to go get Stephon Diggs, you go do
that.
He doesn't want to. That's why I'm saying who could we possibly have a chance that Jerry would just, the old Jerry would say.
Right now, the Cowboys haven't signed anybody since, named player since Greg Hardy.
Hey, Stacey,
Brandon Carr.
What's the easiest, if you want to be shrewd, Jerry, what's the easiest way to sign Trayvon Diggs to a long-term deal?
Get his brother.
That wouldn't involve him holding out, because you can write it down now. Okay, he is not going to start the year under this existing contract.
Well, he can't really hold out.
He's not. He's going to through his agent. He may not hold out during a length of time, but it's going to be known that he may miss some off-season program.
Here's the problem for players. When Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers were saying, don't sign this deal, this collective bargaining agreement, it's bad, it killed being able to hold out. If you miss 1 week of training camp and a preseason game, that is a game check. And it's not negotiable. It's not refundable. You heard Aaron Rodgers talking all that smack about wanting to hold out, but their ass all showed up on time. You can't do what Zeke did. And they actually have an option that not many people know about. If you hold out for 1 week, the NFL can go through and decide, the team can decide that we're going to sit you for the rest of the year, and you don't get that year of accrued service. So your contract is still.
I'm not saying regular season games. I'm just saying.
No, you hold out for training camp, it costs you a regular season check.
I'm saying off season. I mean,
okay. Well, yeah, you get fined for those.
To my own,
Shout out to Grover.
That's where championships are won and lost in the off season.
I agree.
You can't. You need everything. That's what I'm saying. And we talked about Dallas, and they need to be that much better because we've already discussed this. Everybody we're their Super Bowl, okay? If we're playing, whether it's the opening game of the Houston Texans franchise that we lost to, if it's Carolina Panthers' first time in the playoffs that we lost to, you know what I mean? Everybody is coming out to play the Cowboys. So we need to be that much better. Everybody's saying it. But what other way to get Trayvon in the fold long term if we deal for his brother and redo his brother's contract?
I'll go one step further. I say that Jerry goes to him and say, hey, Trayvon, we're going to try and make a play for your brother, but you got to understand, he costs a lot of money and stuff. He got a piece of pie. You want a piece of pie. Let's put your two pies together, and then you're going to have a happy Thanksgiving and a good Christmas. See, we got to be able to make it affordable to be able to do that. And I think that you might have a chance of him saying, well, I get a chance to play with my brother. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
You would. To me, that's a great negotiation.
Parents can come to one game instead of having to fly around the country to see a kid here, a kid
there. Yeah,
right there.
To me, that's a great selling point for Jerry to get a team friendlier deal from Diggs.
And you know what's embarrassing? When you hear
Jerry.
No, you hear Jeffrey Lurie talking to Jimmy Johnson, okay, questioning why Jerry said what he said regarding the Eagles, and Jimmy says, I don't know. He's a fool, basically. You know what? It's embarrassing.
I would,
Jerry Jones,
if I were Jimmy Johnson, I'd be trashing him too.
I know, but it's embarrassing for me and you because we're the Dallas fans. See, Jerry's in his bubble. Steven's in their bubble. They want to have their draft, but they are in their $1 billion bubble. Okay, they're more about the stock market and making money. Okay,
and they got
me wrong, and they're winning that. They're winning that game, that championship game. They're winning every year because they're the highest marketing. They're the biggest franchise in all of sports.
Now let me ask. Now Stacey, I don't mean to put you on blast, but you are a resident lady that's in here. Okay, I'm making the case that Jerry Jones is like an abuser, a special abuser.
Okay.
I know. Just hypothetically, because we are the abused ones. No. No. I'm just saying. But typically, when you have like a toxic relationship, the person will do something bad. He might cheat on her or might hit her or something. And what's the first thing that they always do?
Come back with a gift, apologize.
And that's not me. I know I was wrong. I got to do better. And what happens every year after we fail with Jerry Jones?
We all come back.
As the owner, I can't fire myself as GM, but I got to do better. I will do better. I must do better for the Cowboy fans, right?
Come on,
now typically, a spouse abuser is very jealous, aren't they? Right? They're very controlling about everything that you do, right? Do you know anybody who's more jealous than Jerry Jones?
Nope. And he's controlling.
And this is where, if I were Jimmy Johnson.
Why do you think Jimmy left?
Well, think about this, though. Let's go back here. When Jerry Jones was at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and I was literally there 20 feet away when he's telling, Jimmy, I'm going to put you in the Ring of Honor. That is an incredible honor. But I'm sorry, that pales in comparison to being one of 300 and some people in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That is the pinnacle of everything. That was Jerry Jones so jealous that he's got to take the spotlight. We're going to put you, and then not do it. Then not follow through it. Yeah.
It is.
And then
you wonder why we anywhere.
And then what's another one of those traits? Of course, telling you what he did was the right thing because he cares about you, right? Well, and that was Amari Cooper. We did the right thing with Amari Cooper there. With that money that we got, I'm proud of the things that we did with that money. What'd you do with it? That was so good.
Yeah, well, we went out and got all the guys that we were able to get. Okay, look at the end result. I'm sorry, but that as a fan, that's what we're looking at. The end result is, listen, you won a playoff game, and thank you. It was a great win. Mm-hmm. It shut Tom Brady up. The season wasn't a total fail, but when you see yet another team, let alone the team who's 30 minutes away from me, and in our division, you go from laughing stock last year in the playoffs against Tampa, Jalen Hurts, he was a laughing stock. They got blown out of the building.
And they went out and helped him.
They went out in the offseason and they already had Devontae Smith. If it was the Cowboys, they would go, we got Devontae Smith. We're going to go and sign a guy like, the guy that we got that didn't really do anything.
James Washington,
and we're going to put pieces around. We got Dallas Goedert. We can't allot that much more money at the wide receiver position because we're going to have to pay Devontae. No, they didn't think of it that way. Give them credit, okay? That's the only way we're going to get better is if we realize that they did something good. They weren't like the Rams prior, which I'm on board with doing. I'm on board with selling our soul, to stop the bleeding. But the Eagles didn't do that. Eagles are fine. They won't be as deep, but they have more money under the cap with us now. And I understand. They have to pay.
They got higher draft picks than we do, too.
Right. Every round they're good. Well, no.
They have 2 firsts, a second, a third, and then 2 sevenths. They don't have any 4th, 5th, or 6th round picks.
We're gonna us. We'll draft another 11 players somehow. We'll move.
Well, we got 3 compensatory picks to go with it, so I think we have 9 picks or so. But
we got tight ends, but we don't have like top flight tight ends. I understand that we all love Ferguson, and Ferguson's ceiling is high, but we have one real guy on our offense who's that's it. I mean, we have nice players. I'm not trying to be mean, but we need. If you look at other teams that are in the Super Bowl or actually winning something, they have multiple weapons. You can't just say, "Oh well, Amari Cooper didn't work out, so see that doesn't work." No,
you know what? Both of those teams also have too.
Offensive lines.
There you go. Great offensive lines.
I know.
That helps the quarterback. Now,
I agree.
Now that our quarterback is NFL Man of the Year, which is something that the Cowboys actually coveted because the 2 things remember, Ryan, we were there, how much they were hyping about being Man of the Year and Dak being a Super Bowl. Now that they got that, will they go all in and really try and make a move? My man Simons has
snub Jerry and Steven a bit because now they have to. You can't just get rid of. We all know he's a great quarterback. Okay, and we talked about it, Mark. It was almost like they didn't want to pay him, so they're going to be like, "Oh, you're the $40 million guy. Go win." Like, I mean, we can't give you everything. That's how I
still feel. You know what though? I'm telling. No. I'm still saying that that Stephen Jones had a vendetta against Dak. That it's kind of like New Jack City. Remember New Jack City, right? Yeah. Where the Italian guy's like, "You got cute, Sagazy," so we had to slap you a little bit, right?
Put in my hand,
right? So I almost felt like Stephen Jones because he said, Dak's got to understand he got to leave money on the table for others. And so what did they do? They got rid of Amari Cooper. They went out and they just got other guys that were cost effective, value picks, as Stephen Jones said, and so on. You felt like this was sending a message to Dak Prescott. And when you hear Jerry Jones say, well, we want Dak Prescott for the next 10 years, implying that he wants a long contract. And so I think that's what they're trying to do, is send this message to Dak. You're going to sign that 5 or 6 year deal so that way we can get some players to go around you.
Mm-hmm.
I heard Dak a couple years ago. He didn't sound like he wanted to play for 10 years. I got news for you. They better hope he wants to play that long. He's had some serious injuries.
Yeah.
And he's a guy who sees life as life should be seen, as far as, I don't have my parents anymore. I don't have a brother. I mean,
but I can guarantee you
he's lost his.
That Super Bowl is important to him.
I know that, but at what cost? And you're only one play away from not, you know what I mean? So I feel like he has more to do outside of football. We all want him to be the Super Bowl champion. I mean, I'm on record of saying it, but I'm just saying, let's not assume that he's going to play 8-10 more years. I hope he does, but it's very hard being the quarterback of the Cowboys. You hear all kinds of crap. Okay. You just look at the offseason. You know, it's just
if
ridiculous.
He plays 3 more years, he'll have pretty much every Cowboys record except maybe the single season passing record, which was he missed by 1 yard.
Right.
He will.
Yeah. Well, the way the rules are changing, I think those passing yards are just going to get easier and easier. So the game.
Not if you don't have somebody to throw to.
Well, I agree. I agree. If and you were, and I know it's like a lot. It's like a lot of times you'll do something just to kind of like make a video, but you all offseason, like after these guys were doing well, you were like, oh, that was a good move, and that was a good move. Maybe Steven did the right thing. But I had said before the season, we still need a couple games. But when it gets into that really tough spot, when I ain't talking regular season where you're expected to win. I'm talking about when you play a team who's as good as you. Sometimes it's coaching. Sometimes it's who has the better talent on the field. Remember I said, I think we're going to miss Amari going over just getting open on a third down. I'm not saying he's going to have 12 catches, but I can count on him to get me a third down catch. And what did we see? We saw everybody getting locked up. We saw CD have a great game, but we saw Dak under pressure.
And you lost
Maybe if
your
we
other
had another
weapon.
guy. Yeah. Exactly. One weapon, Pollard goes down, and I'm sure everybody felt the same thing. As soon as Pollard went down, I'm like, we can't beat Philly anyway.
Yeah.
What are we going to have CD run around all day and Dak run for his life? That tells you we don't have enough weapons.
Not with Kellen Moore.
I'm going on a tangent. You guys,
heard, Emmitt Smith
crazy.
basically trashed Kellen Moore. Basically saying that there's no rhyme or reason with his offense. That we'll do a couple of good things, and it's like one thing doesn't lead to another. It's basically he's just calling plays to just call whatever play, which is the truth. You looked at that and you say, we had success with things like running the ball in some games, and then we just stopped running the ball completely. Or we'll start doing some good things and we'll do a stupid ass trick play that ends up losing 8 yards, and now it's second and
I think we didn't have one successful play behind the line of scrimmage all year, maybe one. But,
and it's kind of like, what are you doing? I'm hoping that getting rid of that situation, and Dak finally kind of said a little bit of, I'm sorry to see him go, but he was the one before saying, I love having Kellen Moore. The fact that it was a week later or longer, it's been longer than that. It's been 2 weeks later that we're finally hearing somebody say, oh, Kellen Moore, so maybe he wasn't as well liked as we thought. And people are happy to have him go. Yeah.
I think that when Mike McCarthy first got the job, he wanted to be fair. I don't think he really wanted Kellen Moore to begin with. But I think that he knew that Kellen Moore had a relationship with a lot of the players. So he didn't
and the owner.
And
remember, James, they had the number one offense that year, so it was going to be hard for him to come in and go, well, you're really putting yourself behind the 8 ball. Go, well, we're getting rid of that. Even though he was probably right, you know what I mean? But, yeah.
But I think this, too. I think that, you could tell the plays Mike McCarthy was calling because we was actually getting first downs and stuff. But I think he just wanted to be fair, kind of let Kellen Moore do his thing and evaluate him at the same time. So
I'm going to tell you exactly what it was. Because he was entrenched, he had to let Kellen Moore fail and hang himself instead of saying, we're going to do it this way. And after Kellen Moore failed, now it's like, okay, you let Jerry Jones's guy look bad. So now Jerry Jones, okay, what do we do now? Now he can say, you know what? We're going to change the offense. We're going to go West Coast. I've already got this guy in here, Brian Schottenheimer, who understands. He's going to be my offensive coordinator. I'm calling the plays. I am going to be the one who goes ahead and falls on the sword. We're either going to win with this, or you can fire me after it's my 4th year, and so on. But he had to do that in order for Jerry Jones to allow him to go ahead and do something. And that's the same thing that happened with Mike Nolan. That defense was so bad, bringing in, let's just let somebody else handle it. That shit it was just awful. I don't even want to get anywhere near it. And you saw Dan Quinn have success with it, and now maybe they're thinking, okay, let's let Mike McCarthy do it his way now.
Mark, it was almost as if Mike McCarthy was trying to tell Jerry Jones what was getting ready to go down.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Jones didn't want to listen. Mike McCarthy told him, he said, all right, since you don't want to listen to me, I want you to see.
We'll do it your way.
I want you to see with your very own eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And he saw it, not just during the season, but I think the San Francisco game, that was enough for him. That was the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah, well, Mark had called it early, too. We were talking about it multiple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We watched games, okay? Now, there was a couple games. I would say the Viking game, we keep going back to that 40-3.
Mm-hmm.
It was just everything was clicking, man. That was a perfect way. Other teams have beat the Vikings, but not like we beat them. That was impressive. But you watch the Eagles, you watch the Niners, you watch a lot of teams. Their scheme is allowing guys to go be wide open. I mean, they're running 5, 6, 7 yards. There's not a defensive person around them.
And they're going downfield.
That's
okay.
Scheme. Okay, that's scheme. They're not running little out routes or comeback routes that defense is sitting on. Those plays can be successful.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get later in the year against the better teams, they're not going to be successful. People do their homework. Mark had said it time and time again. Look at this guy. He would stop the frame. You would see the screen, not a guy around a guy, and he's making a catch going up the field.
Right, going 30, 40 yards. Oh, that was it's like, yeah, you're hitting a guy open and giving him the ball in space.
Despite it. And the main indictment on Kellen Moore, whether you like him, whether I like him, it doesn't matter. The players didn't have his back. Who came out and said, oh, my God, we lost Kellen? Oh, my God. Nobody opened their mouth. Okay? That's if it was McCarthy, I'll tell you one thing. McCarthy, say what you want. I love Mike McCarthy as the coach. They have his back. They love the way he is. Not everybody.
And they love Dan Quinn.
And they love Dan Quinn. So, I really think this is a situation where our owner,
Sully, I'm sorry, Sully. Hold on. Let me get to Sully. He said, like the chat room is a waste of time of the people in the stream. No, it's not a waste of time. Sorry about that, man. We're not meaning to ignore you, Sully. And Eagle fans, you suck. Eastside Herald, be cool with my daughter. Don't act like a stalker, okay? Because you come on kind of strong there, okay? But I still appreciate you basically driving Gina to Michael Anthony Fitness Reaction Gig Economy, too. All right? And Twist Digger, don't count your chickens before they hatch. You guys ain't won jack yet, and I'm putting my money on Kansas City. Or should I say the Dallas Texans. There you go. Yep. And Tyson Kemp, man, you ain't said a word, man. What's up? Yeah. You got your mic muted, man. Come on, man. Tyson Kemp, what's up?
I just
changed.
Wait a minute, your mic is
sitting back listening to all this commentary.
Okay. And what do you think? We all crazy?
Yeah, but let me ask y'all this. What is your biggest fear in off? I mean, obviously the obvious, not signing anybody. But my biggest fear is we're going to a West Coast offense. The first thing I think of is 2020 when we went from the 4-3 to the 3-4. A lot of players couldn't catch on. I'm just hoping that all these guys are up for the challenge and able to adjust.
Good point.
Well, the changing to it. Actually, I don't think it'll be that bad because, one thing that we used to do really good, like with Cole Beasley, if you remember, Beasley was great going across the middle. Right. And for Dak it's the difference between Dak and, say, Tony Romo. Tony Romo and Dez worked because Dez Bryant was not a disciplined route runner. Dez Bryant could run the same route 3 times, and he'll be in a different spot every 3 times. And Tony Romo would buy time, and it would be, boom, I'm throwing it, and Dez was physical enough to just go up and get it. Right. Dak has always been that timing route guy, which is why him and Dez didn't work that great. And so what it is it is basically 1, 2, 3, that ball's out of here and it's going to that spot. So if it's that slant across the middle, you're supposed to be there and you're going to catch that ball and keep going. It's also using the more zone running where it's quicker hitting. So you actually have usually smaller offensive linemen where they don't have to hold up as long. And it's not all these damn option routes that, which are really complex that we're doing. See, a lot of times Dak Prescott gets, blamed for all the interceptions because you see him throwing to a spot where the receiver's supposed to be, but the receiver and him weren't on the same page because of all these different option routes. These things are like, this is the play and here's where you're supposed to be, and that ball's coming to you and you got to be ready for it. So for me, I think it'll be a good transition for them. Now you're going to need to get some different personnel, of course, to work with that, but I think CeeDee Lamb is perfect for that. I think Tony Pollard is perfect for that. Not so much Zeke being the bruising back. It's not as much bruising up the middle football. And you do need like a fullback, and maybe they're thinking about making Zeke more like a fullback. I don't know. But I'm actually excited about it. Get the ball in the playmaker's hand with momentum going upfield.
Mark.
Yes, ma'am.
Videos, maybe possibly explaining the X's and O's of the West Coast offense in comparison to our prior offense.
I will say this much. I think we need to change just for change's sake. We have done the same thing because this Kellen Moore's offense is Scott Linehan's, which is Jason Garrett's, which has its roots back from the 90s.
Right.
And things evolve and change. And if you do not change with them, you die. Now, the West Coast isn't exactly the same as it was when Bill Walsh. It has had different iterations of it. It has had different changes, but it's still all predicated on quickly getting rid of the football and getting the ball in hands of playmakers. Where Mike McCarthy had a problem, because people go back through the last couple of years of him being in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers, was they changed it where Aaron Rodgers was trying to do more deep balls, and it ended up being that their offensive line, which are typically smaller guys that are doing zone blocking, it's where you're looking for angles and stuff, can't hold up as long. And when you have these slower developing plays that Aaron Rodgers loved to keep him happy, where it's high risk and high reward, it ended up hurting that offense. And so if we get to the principles, and the basic principles were they originally started it with Cincinnati, and it was because the quarterback they had didn't have a great arm. He was a precise thrower, but he couldn't get the ball down the field. Yeah. And it was, we're going to get the ball out quickly because we didn't have great offensive linemen, and we're going to get the ball in space where the player can make the moves. Think about how many times you saw Jerry Rice going on a slant and taking it to the house.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you're going to see. And like I said, if you go back to Dak's rookie year, Cole Beasley was actually perfect in what they were doing with those slants, because you'd see Cole Beasley on a 6 or 7 yard slant take it for 25, 30 yards. And if you get a guy who is really gifted like CeeDee Lamb in the slot and taking one of those, he's gone. He is gone with that speed.
Do you think that now that, Kellen Moore is gone, maybe they will start to implement, what's the guy's name, the kick returner?
Turpin? It's possible. It's possible.
Do you think maybe now he'll get some playing time?
Well, he's gonna need to get some practice in there and really get work. And here's the problem that you have now in today's football. You used to have like 6 weeks of training camp. You'd have the 4 games, or actually at one point they had 6 preseason games, and you had all of the mini camps. You had time to really work with players. Now you don't have 2-a-days. You got 1 practice, and you only have 14 padded practices for training camp. There's not a lot of time to really coach a player in training camp. It's all really those OTAs is where everything is installed. And this is where the Cowboys hurt themselves because of getting guys like Anthony Barr, late in the season at the end of training camp. There's no time to coach them up. There's no time to get those guys on there. So it's actually does them a disservice to wait to sign any free agents that they look at that are important for the team. You need to get them in there for OTAs so that way they can start getting that work in together. So my thoughts are, I think the West Coast will be good for the Cowboys, and just for teams having to now study and try and figure out what the Cowboys are doing. We won't hear anybody like the cornerback from Tampa saying all we did was look at the film from last year and they didn't change anything.
I think it'll be a hybrid, though. I do.
They probably will.
I think they'll keep things that work.
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of the digs, and not all digs, but comebacks. Just a constant. Oh my God, they need a first down. It's crunch time. They're going to do a comeback route. Or something.
Yeah, and they take away all the option routes.
Exactly.
And the curls.
Veto's in the house. I can't wait for Veto to say, "Fuck the Eagles." Oh, man. CB is going to be the shit show. Dak has never played football under center. It's an entirely different footwork system. All of them walkthroughs, they need contact. You're right about that, man. Sugar Daddy, I was never so disappointed in my life when we were supposed to have a scrimmage on the Wednesday I was down there for training camp, and it was a walkthrough scrimmage. How you have a scrimmage that's a walkthrough? That's what I want to know. How can you have a walkthrough scrimmage? This is the craziest shit I've ever heard. Okay, so, we've been in here for a while. I know prime time and game time, they've got their broadcast at 7, so we won't be out here too much longer. What's everybody's thoughts about Dak Prescott being man of the year?
I'm happy.
That's nice.
Do you think it'll change anybody, any of the haters at all?
No.
They'll hate even more. I seen Mark, I want to tell you, I seen somebody make the stupidest remark on Facebook. They were talking about
what? Wait. A stupid remark on Facebook? Say it isn't so.
Yeah. No, it was about Patrick Mahomes getting the MVP. Idiot was like, "Oh, that's the black man's award."
Oh, Lord.
I said, how you figure, dude? I sent him over a stat of all the MVPs. I was like, man, people are just so ignorant.
Well, the NFL is about 70% black, so odds are, I'm just saying that there's. What's up, Vedo, man? What do you have for the Eagles today, man?
What?
That's right. He's getting better and better at that. I love that, Vedo. They used him back when he actually won the Super Bowl last. Okay, it's a nice award, but I would rather him holding the Lombardi. I agree with you, William. I want to see him holding that Joe Bardi. That Lombardi.
Mark, I'm going to say something, and it's towards the haters and all the Cowboy fans who have to say towards that. Y'all sit here and you watch these damn talking heads every day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say this right now, and I don't care how anybody take on what I'm about ready to say. I don't care what I don't care how anybody react because I don't care.
Okay.
But I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna be done with. If you don't fall for nothing, you'll fall for anything that's out there. Well, let me take that back. If you don't fall for something, you'll fall for anything that's out there.
Mm-hmm. All right.
If you don't fall for something, you fall for anything that's out there.
You mean if you don't stand for something?
If you don't stand, I'm sorry. If you don't stand for something, you fall for anything that's out there.
Gotcha.
Y'all fall for all that negativity, and most of it is false. Y'all fall for all that crap that the talking heads tell y'all.
Yeah, you're right about that. But the Cowboys are big business, man.
I know, they big business, but you.
Oh, bullshit.
These damn talking heads every day, and they say something about Dallas. The majority of it is false.
Yeah, and to your point here, right now. Now listen to this. This is actually kind of cool. Cowboy stats and graphs, right? This is a tweet that they did just about an hour ago. Since interceptions are discussed in isolation as a simple counting stat, I thought it might be useful to illustrate the other side of the coin. Positive game-changing plays. Okay. Game-changing plays, positive ones. These are game changers, right? Dak had 24 game-changing plays in 2022. The sixth most in the NFL, despite only playing 14 games. So he was making more bigger plays than most of the NFL players. Yep. And that's where, people keep saying, well, the Cowboys choked. Now, you remember last year, we started this because this was our bitch session. Right? I'm sorry, Vado? They love, you're right, Vado. They love to hate us.
Because we're black.
They do. They love to hate us. But you'll remember we started doing this last year with Stewart as basically a Cowboy fans bitch session, because here it was, we're watching all these free agent moves that are being made, and we're sitting at home with James Washington. We're seeing Amari Cooper. We literally just kind of said, man, our team is we're just throwing this away. We're going to be ass. They told us the Cowboys, they'll be lucky to be 500, that the Commanders and the Giants and the Eagles have all passed us by. And so, now all of a sudden we're a failure because we didn't win the Super Bowl. But then what does that make the Buffalo Bills?
Yep.
Thank you.
Buffalo. What does that make the Buffalo Bills? Josh Allen. Ain't nobody said anything about Josh Allen. Josh Allen had more turnovers than anybody else this season.
Yep.
Right?
I'm glad you said something, Mark, because if you remember, right before the season had started, they have put their anointing oil on Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
They were the team to beat. They were anointed. Everybody was like Buffalo this and Buffalo that.
Yep.
But when they lost to Cincinnati in the second round, all they could talk about was Dallas losing to San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wait a minute. Didn't Buffalo lose yesterday? Y'all was talking about them winning the Super Bowl.
Okay, so to my point, let me go to ESPN's preseason poll. Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey, quarterback Josh Allen isn't going anywhere, and for the first time in the NFL career, he'll be working with the new offensive coordinator. Dorsey has his former quarterback coach, New York coach Brian Daboll. Am I in the right year? Was this 20? Let me make sure this is 20. August 22nd. Yeah, this is 22. I'm looking at the wrong team. Hold it. Wait a minute. I'm looking at the Giants. Okay, I'm sorry.
Looking at the Bills.
Josh Allen isn't going anywhere. For the first time in his NFL career, he'll be working for a new offensive coordinator, Dorsey. Let's see. Both relationships with Allen's on and off the field success. Buffalo's offense had major missteps or play calling hiccups. The pressure will be on first-time play caller. But they picked them to be the number one team. That was the preseason number one. Tampa Bay, number 2. Rams, number 3. Kansas City, 4. Now I want to go down to, let's find out where they had the Cowboys, ESPN. Dallas, 10th, okay? It's been this way since last season ended, and nothing has changed since. Despite Jerry Jones' constant backing, McCarthy will be the most watched head coach of the year because of Sean Payton's shadow and the way Jones took care of the defensive coordinator Dan Quinn. If the Cowboys did not win at least 12 games last year as a residue for the playoff loss San Francisco 49ers had disappeared, to his credit, McCarthy is not allowed. Okay. So they had us at 10th. That is a 10. Actually, that's higher than I thought it was because a lot of us had them at 18 to 20. So if the Cowboys were starting the season at 10, how is it we're chokers and a disappointment if Buffalo was ranked number 1? Anybody? How is it Buffalo wasn't even talked about as, here it is, 4 years in a row, Buffalo does not make the Super Bowl with Josh Allen.
In the Super Bowl.
I'm sorry, Vito.
No.
And they lost to 3 times in the Super Bowl.
Yep. 4 times they lost in the Super Bowl. But I don't hear anybody saying that they need to move on from Josh Allen because he's not on a rookie contract anymore.
Buffalo's in the same boat as us. They haven't made it to the championship game, and they had more hype around them
than we did.
They were supposed to be the team to beat in the AFC.
Dallas Cowboy girl, what's up? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But the only one they talk about, they talked more about us this week than the Eagles and Kansas City combined.
Yep.
Cincinnati beat them on their own turf in the snow.
Yeah.
You know, after that Cincinnati win, the only person I could think about after that game was Boosie, the rapper Boosie.
Mm-hmm.
All I could say was,
Why?
"Come on, man, come on." That was all I could say. That was all I could say was, "Come on, man." That's it.
Yep.
You know,
That's perfect. That's perfect.
The NFL world had anointed you before y'all played the Tennessee Titans in the season opener.
Mm-hmm.
You beat the hell out of them, and they gave you more anointing oil. You was winning as the season was going, was progressing, and then you get in the playoffs and you lose to Cincinnati in the snow.
Yeah. Shout out to Game Time.
And not only
they got the crap beat out of them.
Mm-hmm.
Not only did you lose to Cincinnati in the second round in the snow, you got your ass kicked.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
come on,
and
man.
you got your wide receiver Diggs going like, bro, what the F? Dude,
Yeah.
what was that?
Yeah.
Shout out. Let me give a shout out to Game Time and Prime Time. They'll be kicking off at 7:00. Definitely go in, check them out. You know, they putting in the work and stuff. They're, you know, I may or may not be your cup of tea, but I guarantee you there is a Cowboy YouTuber out there that definitely is. And show them the support, man, because this ain't easy. You know, I'm here taking shots on a daily basis from these Eagle trolls out here, you know, basically trying to destroy the Cowboys and stuff. I'm out here on Front Street for them. But definitely show them some support because this ain't easy. Trust me, it ain't easy.
Okay.
The Eagle fans act like they don't know. They don't know. They
come on.
Mm-hmm.
Dwayne, come on.
Are they gonna cry tomorrow?
Yeah, I hope, Beto. I hope you're right because I'm putting $200 on the Dallas Texans tomorrow. Dwayne Sweeney, the Bills choked and gagged that game away, but I'm still talking. Allen is better than Dak. Okay, all right, Dwayne, are you a Bills fan there? I remember the Texans were better than the Bills. It was just a couple of seasons ago. Yeah, okay. If you say so, Eastside. Allen is the closest thing to Mahomes. Is he?
No.
Aisha Robinson just signed up for Brian's channel. Aisha, you changed. You went back to your other. Okay, I'm confused. Mark is the real deal. Shout out to Pioneer. Smash some likes. Thank you, Gina Dallas Diva. I will take Josh Allen over Dak any day. Okay, Chris. Poor Eastside. Okay. All right. So we're going to get ready to get out of here in a couple minutes here. Final thoughts from everybody. Are we excited about this offseason? Are we disgusted by it? Do we think Jerry Jones will change? Will the Eagles choke tomorrow and be frauds that I think that they are?
You know what? I think this is going to sound. I'm sorry, Vado. This is going to sound crazy. I mean, I hope the Eagles beat the crap out of the Chiefs tomorrow. Not because I want them to win, but just because maybe they'll make Jerry and Stephen Jones realize, damn, if we took care of business, we could have did that.
No, I can't pull for Philly.
We would have hoped that was the case.
I can't.
But
I can't do that.
You would have thought that would have been 2017 when they finally won one.
Yeah, but they're just so stubborn. They just need to be hitting the head or something a couple times.
I don't even think that would do it.
You know, James Snooks, I think, if you ask me, I think Jerry and Steve's, I think they saw what all they need to see after the San Francisco loss, if you ask me.
Yeah, McCarthy was mad. He pushed a cameraman, but
you know what though? I still believe that last year was the tank year. That they were pulling a major league, just like in the movie Major League. She was trying to sell the team, so she brought in a bunch of scrubs and bums out there that were supposed to lose, devalue the franchise, and then they could move. But they messed up and they won. And that's where I feel like Jerry was like, you know what? We're going to get rid of all these contracts. We're going to go ahead and make it hard for Mike McCarthy. He going to get fired. We're going to go get, Sean Payton. We're going to have some cap room, and we're going to go ahead and say we're going to try and win it that next year.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden the team started winning. It was like, we need a receiver. Let's go get Odell. It was like all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute. We're doing better than what we thought. We thought we were going to be tanking and getting high draft picks. Maybe we can win this thing. I honestly feel like that was the plan, but the players screwed up the script. That was the script, and the team said, tear that shit up. Screw the script. Am I crazy?
No, because Jerry is prone to do something like that.
Yeah.
He's prone to do something like that. And unfortunately, last year when he tried to do it, it backfired on him.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing if he would have went head on and played, that's if he did. If he would have went head on and played last year like it's a regular season, we may have been a team would have been playing tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
If we had a couple more this is the sad thing about it. Could you imagine if we had just gotten two offensive weapons? Just 2 extra weapons. That was all we needed.
DK Metcalf.
Oh, yeah.
No, Mark. No. What if they would never gotten rid of Amari Cooper?
That would help.
What if they would have never gotten rid of Amari?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. You're right about that.
We need a number 1 receiver.
Yeah.
Well, Kansas City is still a 1.5 point favorite, and I'm gonna put 200 on them. We'll see with BUSR.
I hate to say it, Mark, but I got to go with my big brother tomorrow.
You going with the Eagles?
Huh?
You going with your big brother? Who's your big brother?
Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, okay.
You remember they started in Dallas first.
That's what I said. I've been betting on the Dallas Texans.
Yeah, they started as the Texans first, and then they moved to Kansas City.
Right.
Yeah, I got to go with the Kansas City Chiefs. I can't pull for Philadelphia. That's no.
I can't.
My oldest she's pulling at the Eagle fan.
Fuck the Eagle.
There you go.
There you go. My oldest she's an Eagle fan, and I'm like, Sherry, I love you, but you got that Eagle stink on you, baby.
Mm-hmm. NPC, you're right, because the Eagles usually are more of that second quarter team. Kansas City is always that second half team. Kansas City, many times you look at Kansas City and say, man, they're ass the first half. That second half, they always come out and play well. So we'll have to wait and see.
That's the reason why I've been trying to tell everybody that don't be surprised if tomorrow's game is a shootout.
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia gonna do that thing in the first and second quarter. Third and fourth is gonna belong to Kansas City.
Yep.
I see a shootout.
All right. Well, let me say I appreciate everybody being here. We're going to be doing this each week. I think we're going to switch this to next Sunday. Although we do have it's not the XFL. What is it? It's the other league. Damn. The XFL. That's it. Yeah, the XFL starts out next week. They do have a game at 8:00 in DC, the DC Defenders. I'm debating on if I want to go or not. I went to the first game in 2020 of the Defenders versus the Seattle, whoever they were. And the stadium is nice, but it was kind of cold that day. And this is at 8:00 at night. Thoughts? Anybody want to see what the XFL looks like?
I will go.
You'd go?
Yeah.
You're not the one going to be sitting out there in the cold, Nato. I may go to the first one for this year and just check it out because I actually enjoyed it. We actually had E2 and Mike and Jet was there and a few other people and stuff. Maybe I'll think about that. I'll look at the long range forecast to see how bad it's going to be and then go. All right. Well, everybody, I appreciate everybody being here. And prime time and game time, we're going to be kicking off in about 15 minutes on their channel. So definitely check it out.
Can you send me a link?
Can I send you a what?
Link.
A link?
Type in primetime film on YouTube.
Yeah.
Let me get the link. I'll tell you what. Let's see. Prime time. Let's see.
Take care, everyone.
All righty.
All right, everybody, take care.
I'll see you guys at the primetime show. I'll be there.
Okay, and here we go. I'm gonna put it here in the description, or I'm gonna not in the description. Pin it up here real quick. There you go. It's pinned up top. The link for prime time and game time. All right, good people. As always, I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna go up here and see what the wife is doing and say, "Hey, baby."
Are you going live tomorrow morning?
I'm going. Yeah, of course. We got to watch Philly 500. I'm hoping that he, you know what? It would be a great way to end the season if we ended up doing the Philly meltdown cam and they lost and he melted down during that game because you know that's gonna be crazy.
Melt down tomorrow. I know he. Because it's because of who they're playing tomorrow. You're gonna melt down. This game is not going to be easy.
Nope.
I'm telling you.
Nope.
If they lose, I'm going to call them frauds.
Good. I can't wait.
Yeah.
If they lose, you may have to FedEx Philly them ass for.
Maybe I can do some kind of a carving that'll say ass. Eagles are ass. Oh man!
You should have called him either yesterday or the other night and told him you were wrong about Justin Jefferson. He's not ass.
Oh man, yeah, I'll be playing that one all tomorrow, all of his meltdowns and stuff. But we'll definitely be here live tomorrow. Hopefully you guys join us and maybe we'll have a little bit of fun and the Eagles lose. That would at least make my day. All right, good people. I appreciate everybody. Definitely